Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on decimal place value. We saw earlier how to work out place value for whole numbers. In this video, we look at place value for decimals. Example 1. What is the place value of each digit in the following number? Now we have 7.3. There's the decimal point there. So let's have a look. Firstly, let's have a look at the 7 here. That 7 represents 7 units. Units means 1, so 7 times 1. So the value of that number is actually 7. Now the number after the decimal point is the 3, and it's the first number after the decimal point. Now anytime you see a number directly after the decimal point on the right hand side of the decimal point, it has a value of tenths. So it's 3 tenths. So it's 3 times 1 on 10, and that's 3 tenths. So that's the value of each of those digits. Let's look at the second example. What is the place value of each digit in the following number? 24.7. Now 2, which is here, is 2 tens, because that's the units column and that's the tens column. So it's 2 tens. So it's 2 times 10, and that's 20. The 4 is in the units column, so it's 4 units, which is 4 times 1, so that value is 4. Now, as I said in the previous example, this number directly to the right of the decimal point is in the tenths column, which is 7 times 1 tenth, and that gives you 7 tenths as the value of that number. Example 3. What is the place value of each digit in the following number? Now there are 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 altogether. So the 2 is in the tens column, so it's 2 tens, which is 2 times 10, which is 20. So that's the value of the 2. The 8 is in the units column, so it's 8 units, which is 8 times 1, which is 8. That is the actual value of the 8, because 28 is 20 plus 8. There's your 28. Now the first digit after the decimal point to the right is in the tenth column, so it's 1 by 1 tenth, which is 1 tenth. So that's the value of the 1. It's actually not 1, it's 1 tenth. Now this is an interesting one. The 9 is in the second place. It's not directly to the right of the decimal point, it's in the next position. Whenever you see that, that's hundredths. 9 times 1 over 100, and that's 9 over 100. Okay, so the value of that 2 is 20. The value of the 8 is actually 8. The value of this 1 here is 1 tenth, and the value of the 9 is 9 over 100, or 9 hundredths. Example 4. Write 6.7 in expanded notation. Now this is very similar to what we've just been doing here, but we just write it differently. Remember I said the 6 here is in the units column, so it's 6 times 1. The 7 is in the tenth column, the 1 tenth column, so it's 7 times 1 tenth. So that's what we called expanded notation. Example 5. Write 7.39 in expanded notation. Now the 7 is in the digits column, that's in the units column, in the units column, so it's 7 times 1. The 3 is in the 1 tenth column, so it's 3 times a tenth. And the 9 is in the hundredth column, so it's 9 times 100. Example 6. Write the place value of each digit in 63.97. So the 6 is in the tens columns, which is 6 tens. 6 tens are 60. So the 6 actually has a value of 60. The 3 is in the units column, or the ones column, which is 3 times 1, which is 3. So that 3 has a value of 3. So 60 plus 3 is 63. So there's your 63. The 9, directly after the decimal point, is in the tenths column. 9 times 1 over 10 is 9 tenths. The 7 is in the hundredths column, so it's 7 hundredths. So it's 7 times 1 over 100, which is 7 over 100. So the 9 is 9 tenths, and the 7 is 7 over 100. Example 7. What is the value of 3 in 23.76? Now the 3 is there directly to the left of the decimal point, so it's in the units column or in the ones column. So it's 3 times 1, so the value is 3. The value of the 9 in 67.95. Now, 67.95, it's directly to the right of the decimal point, which is in the tenths column. 9 times 1 over 10 is 9 tenths. And what's the value of the 9 in this number, 63.59? Well, that's in the second column, so it's not in the first, but in the second column. So that's hundredths. So the value of the 9 is 9 over 100.